Hey there, this is Cory McLinsay with Venture Real Estate in Bismarck, North Dakota, and I am here to talk to you today about making a lowball offer. Let's just talk about the 10 things that making a lowball offer does. Without further ado, the first thing that a lowball offer does is it makes you look like you're just looking for a deal. Now on the surface, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with somebody looking for a deal. But kind of the residue that's left on that is it makes you, number two, look cheap. And specifically who it makes you look like is like a character. And that character is Uncle Frank from Home Alone.
That's $122.50.
Ah, it's my brother's house. He'll take care of it.
Champagne, please. It's free, isn't it? Put them in your purse. Put them. Just put them in your purse.
Be honest with yourself. If you are in a real estate transaction and Uncle Frank is the one that's giving you the offer, do you really feel like this is going to go well for you? Or do you feel like this person is going to make your life hard and they're going to want discount, discount, discount? They're just going to keep on chopping away. And that cheap person is somebody who's no fun to deal with, and you would just as soon wait for the next one. The third thing that making a lowball offer does is it makes you look like you don't actually even like the house. Especially if you give a bunch of rationale for why you made a lowball offer. Oh, we don't like the carpet. We're going to have to change that out. The appliances are old. We're going to have to change those. We're going to have to paint these walls. The seller sort of gets the idea that, like, do you even like my house? Why don't you just get a different house? It sounds like you want to change all of mine and make me pay for it. You think you're being rational, but really the seller's like, sounds like you don't like my house. Move on. The fourth thing that a lowball offer does is it communicates to the seller that you're just not very motivated, right? Like if you're in the driver's seat and you're like, I could pick from this house or this house or this house, so I'm just gonna softly make this kind of an offer, and it's all in your favor as the buyer. It just doesn't seem like you're a very motivated person. And normally as a seller, they're looking for a sure thing. They're looking for somebody who A, wants their house, and then they're looking for B, somebody who is absolutely going to make it happen and has sufficient motivation to do so. One of the ways that somebody communicates that they're motivated sufficiently to buy the house is with the kind of offer that they make. It doesn't always come down to money, by the way. Sometimes you can have an offer that's below the asking price, well below the asking price. We will close quickly. We won't do an inspection, or we won't do these forms of inspection. We'll waive the appraisal. There are ways to communicate to the seller that you are motivated other than just giving them the asking price. But the fifth thing that a lowball offer communicates to a seller is it communicates that you're trying to take advantage of them. Like you're trying to take advantage of their situation. And if the seller is given a buyer information as to why they have to be out of someplace at a certain time, a seller could feel like you're trying to take advantage of my situation and therefore I don't like you. And ultimately that's going to end bad for anyone. The sixth thing that a lowball offer communicates is that maybe the buyer just doesn't have the money.
Show me the money!
Let's say the house is a $500,000 house and you offer $465,000. Well, I mean, other than all these other things we've talked about so far, I mean, one of the things that the seller might be thinking about the buyer is maybe you just don't have any money, right? Maybe you can't actually afford this house. Maybe you should be buying a $450,000 house and you're trying to stretch and make this one work. And that doesn't look good for you because a seller is, again, they are looking for a sure thing. So if they get involved with someone who's asking for a bunch of closing costs and asking for a bunch off the asking price, that absolutely communicates that the buyer may be cash strapped, may not have any funds to actually make it happen. Okay, the seventh thing that a lowball offer communicates to a seller is disrespect.
Talking to me?
Like you don't respect them, you don't respect their time, you don't respect how they feel about their house, you haven't heard them out at all, you haven't asked any questions, you just toss this lowball offer at them. And briefly, I talked about in my previous video playing Battleship with offers. And this is where people go off the rails right away. They don't communicate at all. They just lob an offer across the other side. Just like Battleship, the board game. You're just lobbing this guess across the table and hoping it hits and hoping, you win. But ultimately, it's probably going to be a miss. and you're just hoping that the seller lobs another counteroffer your way and back and forth you go. All the while, you're just making each other mad because nobody's asking any questions. And this is a terrible idea. This is why a lowball offer with zero context is almost guaranteed to fail. Because the seller is left with really no reason why you did that other than to feel like you are disrespecting me. And when people feel disrespected, they don't play ball. The number 8 thing that a lowball offer does is it just makes you seem like you're an unreasonable person. Especially, again, just like the previous, the disrespect thing, it makes you seem completely unreasonable. Like you didn't provide any comps, you didn't provide any kind of justification, you didn't try to understand their situation at all. You're disrespectful and you're unreasonable and you're somebody I don't want to work with. I'm gonna beat that to death in this video, I feel like, but a lowball offer is just, in large part, a horrible idea. The number 9 thing that a lowball offer does is it communicates that you just don't care about the seller. And just shooting you straight here, if you don't care about a seller, why is a seller supposed to care about you? Why would a seller care about you or your situation or helping you out at all? And lastly, and this is the final one, it just kind of communicates that you're inexperienced. That might not be true. You might be really seasoned in this thing. But if you just throw out a lowball offer with no context whatsoever, it communicates that you don't have any experience doing this and they would rather wait for someone who has more. Okay, that's the 10 things I have for you today. As always, I'm Cory McLinsay with Venture Real Estate. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later.